committees in this House. Honorable Speaker, I have information that some of us who may have voted otherwise are likely to be expunged from some of the committees, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I pray that even as you deliberate on those to be expunged from committees, you take into account those who have been attending sessions in this House and contributing to substantive matters touching on substantive issues in this House, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, be that as it may, I wish to speak, and as I second this report, Honorable Speaker, if you read the Constitution of this country in its entirety, the word regional, or the words regional and ethnic and ethnicity have been used from the preamble to the very end. Honorable Speaker, the word regional as used in the Constitution and ethnicity is not a mere decoration. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Yusuf, moving the report, has clearly pointed out that in one of the report, one agency, the National Police Service, is constituted of majorly of one ethnic community. Honorable Speaker, if you read that against Article 246(4) of the Constitution says, the composition of the National Police Service shall reflect the regional and ethnic diversity of the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, whereas the report tells us that one community almost constitutes a major percentage of the National Police Service Commission. Honorable Speaker, that is against the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, if you read further, Article 130, sub-article 2, it says, the composition of the National Executive shall reflect the regional and ethnic diversity of the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, this is a fundamental provision in the Constitution of the Republic. And therefore, as a House, we must sit down and look at this report in its entirety, have members look at it, and we make decisions that are for the best interest of the regions of this country and for the ethnic communities in this country. Honorable Speaker, if you read further, under Article 250, sub-article 4, it talks about appointment to commissions and independent offices. Honorable Speaker, it says very clearly that it shall take into account the national values and principles, that the composition of these commissions and offices taken as a whole shall reflect the regional and ethnic diversity of the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, therefore, even as we debate this report and look for a way that we can be able to enforce and make it work so that whatever appears in the Constitution does not appear as a mere decoration to color our Constitution. Honorable Speaker, this House must take decisive steps so that we ensure that our public institutions, our commissions, even our legislature, the executive, there is the issue of regional balance and the issue of ethnicity is taken into account so that we have a fair country. I am very sure that the framers of the Constitution were not blind. One Honorable Milo Odhiambo is one of the framers. There was a reason as to why those particular words were carefully chosen, the word regional and the word ethnicity, so that we have a country that is balanced from Turkana to Northeastern, to Nyanza, to Mombasa, so that we have a fair and equal representation of ethnic communities serving in our government. It is unfair, Honorable Speaker, that we have certain offices or certain agencies that have almost 70% from one regional, from one community. Honorable Speaker, that is a very, very important issue that this House must deliberate and take decisive actions so that this matter is resolved once and for all. Honorable Speaker, thank you. I second.
Timothy, before you sit down and say your last statement on seconding, this ethnic community called Kalenjin is which one?
Honorable Speaker, pardon?
The Kalenjin ethnic community is which one?
Honorable Speaker, Kalenjin being an ethnic community.
And which is Mijikenda? Because you see, from your reports, we should be targeted. As you rightly say, Article 232 speaks to integration of all ethnic communities in public service. And so we should be clear on what ethnic communities are. Which one is this called Mijikenda, and which is this one called Kalenjin?
Honorable Speaker, the chair is here. He can be able to give a substantive response to that. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
No problem, Chair. Just sit down. Just take your seat. So did you second?
Yeah, Honorable Chair, second. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Honorable members, I now propose the question that this House adopts the second report of the Select Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity on the employment of diversity audit in public institutions, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 21st March, 2024. I want to request everyone who wants to speak to this to go to intervention. The Honorable Owen Bayer.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. While I stand to support the report, I have a few things to say, Honorable Speaker. One, you see, when you bring a report like that, and that report says, for example, Maseno University, majority of the people employed there are Luos. I also want you to go down and say, in which levels? Because what do you expect if a university is situated deep in Luo Nyanza? Majority, if you draw a pyramid, you realize that the people that are sweepers, they're the cleaners, are most likely to be from that region, not from any other place. And therefore, to bring a report to say Maseno University has 76% Luos, I also want to see these Luos are in which port of entry. Are they at the bottom? Are they at the middle? Are they at the top? That's very important so that you get correct facts. Because you could say there are very many, but they are only the sweepers, the cooks, the watchmen, and all that. Those are the only Luos that are in that institution. And that is not representative. Because where do we expect the sweepers to come from if not from the immediate surrounding? If not from the immediate surrounding. So, Honorable Speaker, if you come, for example, to Pwani University and you come and give me details and tell me that the majority there are Mijikenda, what do you expect? Because the majority of the people are at the lowest level. The lowest level are the people that you will find there. But come to management, who are the people in the management? Who are the people at the second level? Honorable Speaker, I think that will give us a clear indication. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, when it comes to disadvantaging communities, that's when we bunch them together. For example, you say at the port of Mombasa.
Honorable Owen Bayer, the point you are making,
yes,
is very important. It's a constitutional point.
yes,
It is in Article 232,
yes,
Sub-Article 1I, which the able chair of the committee indeed quoted,
yes,
which says affording adequate and equal opportunities for employment, training, and advancements.
good, correct.
At all levels of public service.
At all levels.
At all levels.
At all levels. But I was making the point of, for example, you come to Pwani University, which is in my area. You look at, for example, from the top to the mid-level, you will not find a Giriama, or you find one or two. The rest have been recruited by Public Service Commission, and the Public Service Commission has recruited people because they have influence from this level. But those that are recruited by the local board there, they will recruit. The question is, those people that are recruited the public service is what we need. Commission is what we need to hold to account, Honorable Speaker. If you come to the port of Mombasa, and I want to speak at the port of Mombasa. If you come to the port of Mombasa, the people at the port of Mombasa, that the people who carry the heavy loads, the luggage, the people who sweep, the people who clean the trains and all that, a lot of them are what he has called Mijikenda, which is not a tribe. But there's no tribe in this country called Mijikenda. And I do not know where they get that statistic. There's no. Mijikenda is a conglomerate of tribes, just like Luyas, just like Kalenjins. So when you come and tell us the majority there are Mijikenda, that is not correct. That is not correct. Then secondly, I want you also to look at the hierarchy from the top to the middle. Who are the people who are running this place? Honorable Speaker. Is it actually the case? So when you actually bringing statistics like that, we would like you to whittle down and we know the statistics so that the true picture is reflected. The people at the coast have always lamented that they don't manage the port. They do not have any say, in the ranks. They are only in the file. That's where they are. But so when you bring that and say this is a report of cohesion and ethics, diversity, Honorable Speaker, is that a true reflection? Or we are just saying, if this is a university that is in Milo, the Ambo Suba, then you come here and say that this university, majority of them are Suba. But what do you expect those sweepers, those cleaners, those people to come from? Honorable Speaker. But what matters most is those people that are recruited from the national board. I also want to pick up national organizations. The parastatals at the national level. There are those parastatals that are the parastatals are usually ranked, but the parastatals at the national level. KRA, for example, which is based here in Nairobi. What is the ethnic diversity? Do we see the ethnic diversity in KRA as the same as in Nairobi? Nairobi is a very diverse area. So the point I'm making is an organization like KRA, which is based here in Nairobi. Look at KRA that is here in Nairobi and the KRA office in Mombasa, for example, and tell me who are the majority. Who are the majority of those people? Look at national organizations, for example, like NEC, Kenya National Examination Council, which is at Nairobi. How is it diversified? That's where we have a problem. Those national organizations, the ones that are called national organizations, that's where we have a problem. And you find that one or two ethnic communities actually are the ones that are there. Because Public Service Commission, who are the members of Public Service Commission that do recruitment? Who is the chairperson? Okay? You look at who is the boss, the CEO of that organization. Does the name of the CEO and the tribe he comes from reflect? Is it reflected in the membership of the staff? Then we say yes here. One person, I heard him say that there are several organizations that are dominated by one organization, and yet they are national. It does not reflect the national diversity. Honorable Speaker, these are things that we must speak about. This is where we talk about real, cohesion in a country. And these are things that we must look at. I want you to come and look, Parliament, this Parliament. I want you to tell me, what is the ethnic diversity of staff and managers and all in this Parliament? Then you tell me, okay, you see here, there is an issue.
Honorable Wenbaya, the chair, when are you doing an audit of Parliament?
Yes, we would like to see that.
Because I was being told, though some communities, and the ones I'm talking about are too loud, they are nowhere in the management level of this Parliament.
Yes. That is what we want to see. And then, Honorable Speaker,
sit down. I'm just telling you should go beyond the scope of what you've already done.
I also want to finish by saying this. When you present this report and you give it 2 years or 3 years to correct the imbalance, what are you saying? Are you saying you are going to correct, Honorable Speaker, are you going to correct the imbalance by sacking people or by adding people? Because you've said you want to correct the imbalance. So which way? You want to sack people of certain tribe and bring in the other people to create diversity, or you're going to add people so that you create a balance? Because you're saying you want it corrected. How? I would like to see the how. I would like to hear the how, so that we know actually we are moving forward after the presentation of this report. But it will just be like any other report if it does not show us how. Chairman, how do you want us to correct the imbalance? How do you want to do it? There's certain things that we speak here. But then I want to see the port management. I want to see everybody represented in management, so that we have the face of Kenya when the port board or the management sits. I want to see a balance. That's what I want to see. I want to come to this Parliament. I see the face of Kenya in the staff of Parliament. I want to see the face of Kenya in NEC. I want to see the face of Kenya in everything. But you say you want it corrected with a certain time. How do you do it, Mr. Speaker? Sacking people or adding more people? Honorable Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you for that frank contribution, Honorable Enmai. The Honorable Wamboka. Minority Whip, I know you take priority over Honorable Wamboka.
She's
But
still making her
as
notes.
a person who made the Constitution, we want to give you the best time.
Speaker, thank you so much. I want to support the chairman, but just like what other members have said, it is indeed disheartening that a committee of 20 people, cannot have just one other person to come and support the chairman on the floor of the House. Then there is a problem. There is a problem. We leave it to our leaders that please, you will guide us and guide us very well, because this parliament must function and function properly. Mr. Speaker, I want to speak from the bottom of my heart. We have talked about institutions, but for me, we start from the top. We start from the top. And what is the top? The cabinet. I want to plead with this administration, Kenya Kwanza administration, or now broad-based administration, that please, every Kenyan has a right to feel part and parcel of this country, Honorable Speaker. If you look at the history, why revolutions start, it's about resources. It's about one feeling they do not have their person on the table. It is not only immoral, but amoral to have a cabinet of Kenya to have more than 50% from 2 communities, and yet we have more than 43 communities in this country. We want this spirit of the Constitution to cascade from the top to the ministries, to the public service, Honorable Speaker. That when a minister is making appointments, he must look at Kenya. It would worry no one, Honorable Speaker. Kenyans will not fight after every election if indeed leaders adhered to this constitutional requirement. That it matters not who sits at the top. We will get resources as taxpayers, our share. It matters not who sits there. What is due to my community will come to my community, Honorable Speaker. It starts at the top. You raised a very important point, Honorable Speaker, even about Parliament. That we create these laws, Honorable Speaker. We create these laws. But at the end of the day, how does the Parliament look like? Does it look like Kenya? Does it represent the mosaic of that fabric that Kenya is made of? No. I'll be bringing an issue to this floor, Honorable Speaker, about Kenya Revenue Authority. We spoke about the appointments that were done at the Kenya Revenue Authority. In this house, a matter was taken to court where, Honorable Speaker, almost 70% of people who were recruited at Kenya Revenue Authority came from 2 communities. The matter went to court. The court stopped the appointment of those people. But what worries me, Honorable Speaker, as we speak, those people are working. They're in the office. They're in the office. Impunity of the highest order. If the administration cannot listen to this house, if the administration cannot listen to the courts, then what country are we breeding? Honorable Speaker, I support my brother and say we must come out with more punitive laws to support this constitution. That if an appointing officer does not adhere, does not do that which the spirit of this constitution envisioned, what must be done to that officer. Because these people are appointed by people. We come here, make noise that they have appointed through obscured ways, but at the end of the day, nothing happened. For us, in the committee of this House that I chair, Honorable Speaker, we are growing towards very punitive measures. That if you are a head of an institution and appointing authority and you don't adhere to the law, we will recommend to this House that you are not fit to sit for that position. And I'm happy the tone, the spirit of my brother, my good brother, I'm happy coming from the government side, my brother, this is what we are talking about. When we were in the leadership the other day, we spoke about resources, allocation of resources. That is why people fight. That if Raila Odinga is not the president, I will not have my fair share. If William Ruto is not the president, I will not have my fair share. We must stop. And it begins with us and this House. And I want to urge the House that let's develop an unpartisan approach to these issues. Honorable members, at the end of the day, we are members of parliament. Whether you are sitting that side or this side, we are members of parliament. For once, let's have an approach that carries the mwananchi, that satisfies the mwananchi, that satisfies the spirit of this constitution. I support Honorable Speaker, but much must be done, and it must be done from the top to the bottom. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable John Kawanjiku, the MP for Kiamba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.